Hi everyone and welcome back. Episode 2 of Fit One Hot One. So nice to have you back. This episode, me and Jade are really excited about this episode because it's about cellulite, and we think there's a really cool crossover between training and skin as well. And Jade just running through like 5 minutes of stuff now. I'm like mind blown because I think it's so interesting. How's your week been? You always get awkward when I ask you that.
I just don't know how to answer it. I feel like I have to make out like I was so much more productive than I was. Yeah, great. No, to be fair, it has actually been quite a good week. Work was quite busy.
Very good.
Just had lunch and then I'm here.
Lovely.
Yes.
Lovely. Well, we will get cracking with it. Yeah, I thought we would start the podcast with going through like a few facts about cellulite, just so we can paint a picture, and then we'll go on to explain ways in which you could perhaps reduce it, in inverted commas, or to not change the appearance. Well, I guess it is.
Reduce the appearance.
Reduce the appearance. So that's what we're going to do. But fact number 1 about cellulite is that actually more than 80% of women have cellulite.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really important to say, because most women do have cellulite, and you always think, oh, I've got cellulite.
100%.
No one else does. I do. I'm not going to wear the shorts. I'm not going to get my legs out because of that. But actually, more than 80% of women do.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I also think there's an association with health and fitness. And if you are meant to be healthy and fit, or you're an athlete, you shouldn't have cellulite, which is totally wrong.
Yeah.
Just nice little fact for you. Fact number 2 is that cellulite isn't actually a new thing. It's been around for years and years and years. There's paintings in the 17th century of women with cellulite. So it's not a new thing. What is a new thing is actually fucking Vogue bringing it to our attention. In 1968, they released an issue of Vogue, and they were like, cellulite, the new fat. That is when we were like, oh, it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
So thank you, Vogue, once again.
Adding another thing that we need to worry about.
I know. Which obviously, if Vogue is telling us it's bad, then it's obviously horrendous. And then out comes all the special things, special fads that women can buy and women can purchase, so that they can remove cellulite, which we'll obviously go into. Yeah. So that's fact number 2. Number 3 is women with very little body fat still can have cellulite. Yeah. So it's not dependent on your body fat to a certain extent. Women will all have certain levels of body fat. That's just what it is. So it doesn't mean the least amount of body fat that you have. Like a woman with really, really low percentage of body fat can still have cellulite. So I think that's a really important thing to explain. And then Jade is going to explain quickly about the skin one, because I just think she explains it really well. She's a bit of a geek about that, but
I've been nerding out so hard. I'm sitting here patiently waiting for my turn to talk about skin.
So about like structure and things like that. So go for it, Jade.
Yeah.
Fact 4.
So I think it's really important for me to just quickly do a brief explanation of the main 3 layers of skin to make this bit make sense.
Yeah.
So we have our hypodermis, so our base layer of skin that holds the majority of our fatty cells. And then we have our dermis, which is the mid layer. And then we have our epidermis, which is literally the part that we can see. You cannot see any other parts of the skin. So to understand cellulite a little bit. So cellulite basically is built up from the fatty cells that we can't see. And you call it the fascia, I call it the connective tissue. So just in case we talk about fascia and connective tissue, we're talking about the same thing. So what happens is in women, we have, what's that way? Vertical.
Linear, yeah.
Linear. So that sounds vertical.
Yeah, same,
Vertical.
yeah.
Same thing. So we have vertical connective tissues. So what happens is there is a pull down between our connective tissue and a push up of our fatty cells. When we get that push and pull mechanism that happens underneath our skin, really natural that it happens with everybody. When we get that, you can then visibly see the dimpling and the rippling of cellulite from our epidermis. So are we going into the difference between men and women yet?
Yeah, so this was fact 5.
Okay.
And men and women will have a different build up and like the different fascia or connective tissue shape.
Yeah. So with women, obviously, where it's vertical, men it's like a crisscross. So for men to be able to have the appearance of cellulite, the cellulite basically has like an obstacle course that it has to try and get through to be able to visibly be seen. Whereas with women, because it's just vertical lines of our connective tissues going from the bottom all the way up, our fatty cells have clear paths to travel up so that you're able to see it. But I was explaining to you a minute ago as well, there are like, I'm not going to go into too much detail on this one, but there's like 3 main types of cellulite as well. So some women have really like in-depth indentations of cellulite. That again doesn't have a direct correlation to whether or not their like body fat is higher or lower. That is purely to do with how dense and how tight their connective tissue is. So ideally the tighter or the shorter your connective tissues, the deeper your appearance of cellulite. And then you have stage 2 of cellulite, which is actually where it's a little bit looser. And then you have stage 3, which actually I think if you're to look at statistics, like 96% of women have stage 3. And that's, you know, if you were to sit down in your shorts and cross your legs, and you just get that little
squish,
that's basically stage 3.
Yeah.
So what that really means is there's not really a woman who walks this planet that doesn't have cellulite in one way or another.
Yeah. I just think that that's really good to know, because moving forward, like there's so many, doing our research as well, there's so many creams or things that you should eat or exercises that you should do that are meant to get rid of cellulite. And they are, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. And we just want to go through those and to make sure that every woman out there, with or without it, you lucky buggers, you're clued up on this kind of stuff, because there's so much marketing out there that we can all be led by. And we just want to make sure that you kind of know what you're looking for when it comes to that, and also that it's perfectly normal and that it's totally fine. So
most definitely.
Should we go into the creams? Honestly, there is so many creams out there that are that claim to get rid of cellulite. And
do you know what, actually, interestingly, not one of them claim to get rid of. If you read small print, they can't claim it because they know it doesn't work.
Well, there we
go.
They
literally, so their marketing is all based around getting rid of. Their marketing is, but when you actually look at like what they physically say it does, not one of them says it gets rid of cellulite, but they'll try and convince you that it will first.
Great marketing, that.
Honestly, it's actually a nightmare. So I was having a little look of different ingredients that are in a lot of these cellulite creams. And obviously, like, there are people in my industry that may think different to me. Like, that's okay. So, like, I just want to put a disclaimer that this is all based upon, like, my knowledge, my understanding, and my research before someone comes at me and tries to shut me down or something. So I'll have, like, a brand come and say, don't you dare talk about me like that. As if we're that big.
Johnson's coming for Jade.
Honestly, that would be great. That would be a good bit of marketing for us, to be fair, wouldn't it?
Johnson's come at us with his cellulite cream.
So, understanding why a lot of creams can't change cellulite
Yeah.
is really important. So just jumping quickly back to the structure of the skin. So our hypodermis, although that sounds like 3 big thick layers, it's actually a very thin part of our body. Do you know what I mean? So, but creams and products can't really enter the area that cellulite starts from. So what you'll find is if you're to put your night cream on or something on your body, that will not be able to penetrate deep enough to affect your connective tissue, to affect your fatty cells. Like that would actually be really dangerous. Our skin is there to protect us.
Yeah.
If everything that we put on it was able to penetrate, like we'd be in trouble.
Yeah.
So caffeine is one of the main ingredients that you'll find in a lot of cellulite creams. So the reason that you will find caffeine is because caffeine can actually dilate blood vessels. And when that happens, in turn, it can temporarily and very shortly shrink the size of fatty cells. So that is why they put that. So they'll use a lot of things that, yes, scientific evidence will back up why it can.
Yeah.
But not actually realistically how it does. Because again, if you go into the small print, a lot of these things, it says you have to use it morning and evening for 12 weeks to see the first result.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's actually happening because they're attempting to shrink the fatty cells. Again, that's not a good thing. Do you know what I mean? We don't want to do that on a permanent basis. Another thing that's quite interesting, and to be fair, out of all ingredients, this is the only one that I can actually see a direct correlation to why it would work, is tretinoin.
Yeah.
So tretinoin is a form of retinol. And when that's applied to the skin, what happens is tretinoin actually increases skin cell turnover. So with skin cell turnover, when that process happens, here I go, I'm nerding, aren't I?
No, it's fine.
I felt like I was going for ages.
No,
didn't even breathe.
no.
Okay.
Just...
So I was like, here I go with my
Jade gets so excited.
I got excited.
No, but I think it's so important to like, you can't say one thing without the other. So
yeah, it needs the explanation.
Deep
so
dive.
yes, here I go. I'm getting back in my diving suit. So yeah, retinol, tretinoin, skin cell turnover. With skin cell turnover, as that process happens, so that happens normally over a 28-day period. Hence,
hang on,
again,
reverse. What's a skin cell turnover?
So skin cell turnover is the process that our skin naturally goes through when we like shed skin.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like this skin that I've got now will
won't be there in
flake
28
away
days.
and I'll have new skin.
Yeah.
So tretinoin, so a retinol type, it's actually, I think it's a retinol A, that increases and speeds up that process.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like a type of chemical exfoliant type thing. So it speeds up that process. During that 28-day process of your cell turnover, what happens is you create collagen and elastin. Collagen and elastin sits just underneath our skin surface, which gives us the appearance, always appearance again, of brighter, tighter, thicker, more youthful skin.
Yeah.
So if that in turn is creating a thicker and tighter outer layer, it's harder for the appearance of cellulite to be able to be seen.
Yeah.
So that's why tretinoin actually, when you look, it's an amazing ingredient when used correctly. But I think when I was looking into a lot of I'm not going to say any brands that I was looking at because, but when I was looking into them, their percentage of these ingredients, like tretinoin, is actually too low.
Yeah.
So to actually do anything, so yes, they can claim it's in there. Of course, they can claim it's in there.
But the effective dose is not.
Of course. And looking up about tretinoin properly, to be able to get the actual effects, I think you actually have to have it prescribed. Like it actually has to be over counter. Yeah, because it's quite intense. Yeah. Like to actually be doing something like that, like there's a lot of side effects that can come with that. You can get skin burn, it can give you irritation, it can give you rash. Like so many things can happen. It has to be prescribed to you by like a doctor or a dermatologist.
And I think what's becoming apparent here is there's lots of things that could actually be harmful to the skin that people will put on something like cellulite, which isn't harmful.
Yeah, exactly. Just leave it be.
Like cellulite is not harmful. It's not bad for the skin. It's not bad for you. It's not abnormal. No. So I think we just need to leave that alone.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And the thing is, like, don't get me wrong, looking after your outer layers of skin is so important. Yeah. So yes, use these cellulite creams because what's in them and what they're trying to do for your skin is great. Yeah. Apart from the percentage of tretinoin. Yeah. But using these things that tighten your skin, help cell turnover, help with the brightness, tightness, 100% do it.
That's all great, yeah.
But don't do it in turn to try and get rid of your cellulite.
Yeah.
So if they just sold them as creams that make your skin look better.
Oh, but
do you know what I mean? Like,
but Jade, nobody's gonna buy them.
No, it's true. They want a miracle.
People love to buy the end product.
Yeah.
Like if you can say do you know what? If you put this on, you'll get this.
It'll be done.
Done.
Yeah, exactly.
That is why the marketing is how it is.
Yeah, of course. And I don't necessarily agree with this treatment.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge. Like, loads of people have it laser for cellulite. Yeah. So you can have it. So ideally what they do is they send like a radio frequency current underneath the layer of the skin. Mm-hmm. And what it does is it attacks the connective tissues. Is what it does. So it basically breaks them down. Mm-hmm. So it makes them softer. The softer they are, the less pull they have, the less cellulite you can see.
Okay.
But I don't know enough about that. I don't do that. I've never had that or really looked into it enough to say what the downsides to that are. My head just goes to, surely our body needs the connective tissues in the state that they're in. Yeah. So I don't know the turnover of connective tissue enough to be able to say whether or not that's good or bad. But I know that that's actually on the rise as well, that treatment at the moment. Yeah. It's like getting into more places and...
Yeah, maybe that's something that will come out within the next few years. Yeah. Whether it's harmful or whether there's long-term damage.
Yeah.
When it comes to laser, but... And
it will always, especially my industry with the cosmetic side of things, there will always be something new. Because it's there's not an end goal to this. You know what I mean? It's just what can be better. And it never ends. And it's so damaging in the sense of there'll be young girls who are just going through their change in life and they'll start to see that they're getting cellulite and they're going to see all of these creams and lasers and things that need to fix it. You don't need to fix that. You're okay the way you are. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. Do you sometimes feel like when there's such a fast change sometimes with beauty and with treatments that you feel like you need to kind of offer that as well, or there's pressure for you to offer that?
Before a year or so ago, yes.
Yeah.
So when we done our intro, remember the thing that I said at the beginning that my biggest lesson was to stay true to what I want to do. So 100%, there's so many things now that come out every single day. The pharmacy that I use to order a lot of my prescriptive stuff, they send emails constantly. Yeah. New treatment alert, this is new. It's but hold on a minute, last week that was new. Yeah. So where it doesn't really stop, and it's about all of people like me in my industry, and even you to a degree with the fitness and the butt scrunch leggings the Kim K bums, taking accountability that when actually we have a client, their physical health and mental health is our responsibility, because we're either going to aid this toxic thought that they have that they aren't good enough, or we can help them in just being more confident in who they are and what they look like. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You can't. I can fly to Turkey and take all your skin off and put a new one on, but I was thinking that'll be a new thing, won't it?
You can do anything in Turkey now. Always. Get all new connective tissue. Can
you imagine?
Connective tissue transplant.
Don't, longer ones so you don't have to. No, don't, because someone would have seen that and they'll be thinking that's a great idea.
Look,
heard it here first.
You heard it here first. No, we shouldn't laugh because it's probably a thing.
No, don't. Yeah, give it a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, what we were going to go on to now is what you can actually do to help cellulite, because there's always improvements that you can make and there's always things that you can do. So we're not talking getting rid of it. We're talking changes, healthy changes that you can start to implement if that's something that you want to do. We'll look at that from a skin, well, you kind of touched on it with creams and things and what you should potentially look for and how that can change the appearance of cellulite. But I just want to come at it from a training point of view as well. because there's obviously a lot to do with skin, but also muscle and fat mass as well. So first of all, I just want to put out that if you reduce your total and overall body fat, you can reduce the amount of cellulite that's within the connective tissue that's coming through. It doesn't mean that you completely remove cellulite, but if you reduce your overall fat mass, then that can reduce total cellulite. There is ways that you can do that. You can do that through going on a calorie controlled diet, but you can also do that through strength training as well. So another way in which you can do that is building muscle tissue. So if you're getting stronger, if you're getting fitter, if you're getting healthier, then that's going to make your muscles more toned. Love the word toned. So having stronger and healthier and fitter muscles, bigger muscles, yeah, you're going to grow muscles. Doesn't mean you're going to get manly. Will help reduce body fat and will give you a more toned and smoother look. So strength training, reducing total body fat, also hydrating as well, like hydrating your skin. It's the appearance that will make it look smoother. Would you agree with that?
100%.
Yeah. Jade always goes on about hydration, like through the moisturizers as well, but also actually drinking water as well. So that's another thing that you can look at. So hydration, and then also accepting and loving the body that you're actually in, like just accepting it. And that is what most women have. Most women will have cellulite. And I was thinking about this, like people say a lot about, love your body, love everything in it. And you just it doesn't mean you stand in front of the mirror and you say, I love my body. Because I was thinking, I love Andy, but I don't always love him. There's still bits that really grind your gears and annoy you, and that's fine. If your body does that, then that's totally fine. You can still be not fine with your body sometimes, but overall you want to accept it and love it for what it is.
100%.
So
no, it makes complete sense. I think, do you know what, that just gave me a thought in my head. Have you seen Cool Runnings?
No, I've never seen that.
No. Okay, so anyone that's seen Cool Runnings, I can't remember what he says, but he stands in front of the mirror and he's giving himself a pep talk, and it's saying about how he's good at this and gonna do that. And I think it's really important, you said, I think sometimes we pick at our bodies so much and our appearance so much that we don't take a step back and think what our body does and gives us in return to that. We're gonna absolutely bash ourselves and hate ourselves for connective tissue in our leg. Do you know what I mean? Strip it back to that. How dare I have connective tissue in my leg? Well, if you didn't, you'd probably fall apart.
No, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I think just breaking it down of what it actually is first is the first stage.
100%.
And then there are ways that you can improve it, but also it doesn't always have to be fixed.
No.
Just because it's there, it doesn't mean that it's bad. Remember, Vogue just told us that it's bad, and that's why we're in this situation. But just breaking that down and realising why it's there and how it's there is usually a great place to start.
Definitely.
So, anything you want to?
I think that just talking about the improvement side of things, I think with skin and skincare, we should be looking after our body good and bad. In that sense, if you don't have cellulite, you should still be moisturising your skin, you should still be oiling your skin, you should still be looking after yourself. So sometimes it's really important to not wait until we see something that we don't like and then try and fix it. I think sometimes we're a little bit too is it what's the opposite to proactive? When something's happened and then you do it.
Inactive.
Reactive.
Yeah.
Reactive. That's what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah,
When you
yeah,
react. Yeah. Sometimes. Wow,
Sorry.
that took a
Yeah.
little minute for me
I know
then.
what you. I know. Sorry, I didn't realise what you were saying.
You looked at me
It's like.
engaging me. Well, yeah. Sometimes we can be, especially in my industry and probably yours as well, too reactive. Something happens, we put on weight, we don't like our skin, and then we want to fix it. Yeah. Whereas actually, if we are proactive in a lot of these situations, one, we'll feel more confident with ourselves because we're keeping on top of things. Yeah. And two, we'll know that we're working towards what we want to achieve, not trying to fix something we didn't want. Mm-hmm. So yeah, just moisturise and go to the gym, really, innit?
Yeah, moisturise. Oh, no, but so... Oh, no. Talking about... No, because you asked me something earlier. When it comes
losing weight.
With losing weight. Yes. Yeah. So what did you ask me?
Oh, what was my question? I wrote it down. We're here. Yes. So I was looking into this. So losing weight just in itself can actually increase the appearance of cellulite when not done correctly, right?
Yes. So weight loss and fat loss are different. Yeah. Okay. So just because somebody loses weight, it doesn't mean they lose body fat. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you just go ahead and you lose weight, you can also reduce muscle mass.
Okay. How do I know the difference? Like if I'm going to the gym,
yes.
How do I know if I'm doing A or B?
I'll tell you. So if you're strength training, you're in a calorie deficit. You haven't reduced your calories like drastically and eating like 1,000 calories a day. You are strength training, so you're lifting weights, you're getting stronger. Yeah. You're doing that 3 to 4 times a week. Yeah. And you're losing weight between 1 to 2 pounds generally a week. Mm-hmm. That is a strong indicator that that you've actually got some muscle tissue there as well. Okay. There will always be some muscle tissue loss when you lose weight. Okay. But you want it to be as little as possible. If you didn't go to the gym, you just did cardio, so you went walking all the time, you were into your running, you dropped your calories quite severely, and you lost all of your weight that way, that is a strong indicator that you've lost weight. Maybe you've held on to a bit of muscle tissue, but you wouldn't have held on to as much muscle tissue than when you were strength training.
Fine, okay.
Yeah? Fine, yeah. So the main goal is when it comes to weight loss or fat loss is that you want to hold on to as much muscle tissue as possible whilst reducing total body fat.
Fine,
yeah?
Okay.
The reason why you want to do that is because typically when people lose weight, they want to be more toned. Mm-hmm. Yeah? If you don't have muscle, you will not achieve the toned look, which is probably why when people lose weight, they have
a higher appearance of cellulite. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what it is. So as long as you're strength training, as long as you're building muscle or trying to hold on to as much muscle as possible and being sensible with your diet, then you can reduce total body fat in a safe and happy way without increasing that. Yeah.
No, it makes sense.
But I think it's really important to look at that actually, like people always say like losing weight when actually the scales isn't the only factor that should come into play here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because
it's the indicator we all use, but not necessarily the healthiest one.
It is because it's so easy, it's so accessible. Everything is done on body weight. Yeah. If you go anywhere, they're like, "Oh, how much do you weigh?" Like, so everything is done on body weight. Whereas if you're doing it on like, oh, bro, how much can you deadlift? Like,
no, it is true.
They're gonna be like, sorry, what?
It is true.
Or how many steps have you done? Like, that's not. Whereas weight or like body fat percentage, like it's hard to go and get a reading of your body fat percentage. It's way easier to just jump on the scales.
Of course,
yeah. So,
but that can also be demotivating because the scales tell me that I sit on the borderline of obesity.
Yeah, I'm overweight as well.
Yeah.
So,
living our best life. Obese with cellulite. Here I am.
Take me as I am.
Have me.
Right, I think that's it.
That is it. So,
yeah.
Moral of the story, love yourself for who you are. Cellulite's okay.
Yeah.
And don't buy them creams that cost you too much money because they're not going to work.
No, they might make your skin feel nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, cream up, hydrate, strength train.
Yeah, and live your best life.
Live your best
Put
life.
the shorts on.
Not now though, it's getting
It's actually a bit
winter.
too cold, but yeah, wear the shorts in the summer.
If it was summer.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
see you next
anyway.
week. Thanks. Get the shorts on.